The Kamishibai Man by Alan Say. This is a realistic fiction story. So as we read today, guys, be thinking about how the events in the story could happen in real life. It's realistic, but it's that fiction genre that fits the other stories we've learned about this year. It has characters, a setting, a plot, and a problem and a solution. So those are the things we're looking for as we read our story today. Not so long ago in Japan, in a small house on a hillside, there lived an old man and his wife. Even though they never had children of their own, they called each other Ji-chan and Ba-chan. Ji-chan is grandpa and Ba-chan is grandma. One day, Ba-chan said, "Ji-chan, you haven't said a word in 3 days." I've been thinking how much I miss going on my rounds," he said. Ba-chan stared. "How many years has it been?" she asked. Yes, it's been quite a while, but my legs are good, and I've kept the bicycle in good order." "I don't know, but the one day won't hurt, I suppose. Should I make some candy?" "That would be very nice," Ji-chan said. The next day, Ji-chan rode his bicycle down the hillside in the first light of the morning. How many years has it been?" he asked himself. "And do I remember such a fine morning? All so fresh and young. Well, good morning to you, rickety old bridge. Still going strong after all these years. He began to hum a tune as his mother used to sing when he was a small boy. When he came to the city, he stopped humming. "This isn't right," he said. "I must have taken a wrong turn. But there's that old house I used to go by every afternoon." A car horn blasted at him, then another. "Why are there so many cars all of a sudden? Look at these tall buildings. You'd think I was in another country." A truck blasted its horn behind him. He pulled into a vacant lot and panted, "Can't a man ride his bicycle in peace? Don't remember such rude drivers." Catching his breath, he looked across the street and gaped. "Can this be? There's an old noodle shop. Used to be the only building here. That and a nice park all around. Now look at all these shops and restaurants. They chopped down all those beautiful trees for them. Who needs to buy so many things and eat so many different foods?" Shaking his head, he slowly took off the canvas from the box on his bicycle. He propped up the stage and checked the story cards inside, patting each painting. Then he opened the bottom drawer in the box. "You little jewels," he said, and started to hum again. "Thank you, Ba-chan. You make good candies, just like in the old days." From the top drawer, he took out 2 wooden blocks, and holding one in each hand, he hit them together. A sharp, loud clack rang out. "Come gather round me, little ones. Your kamishibai man is here again. Clack, clack. Come get your sweets and listen to my stories. Clack, clack, clack. Ah, yes, I can see you now. All your bright faces, clasping coins in your little hands. So happy to hear my clappers. So happy to see your kamishibai man. Patience, everyone. You'll get your sweets, each and every one of you. I have all your favorites, red ones and green ones, and the little soft ones on sticks. And here comes that boy, the one who never has money. I'll get to him later. So which story will it be today? The mighty peach boy, born from a giant peach? But wait, let's start at the beginning. Long, long ago, there once lived an old man and his wife who had no children. After the peach boy, the bamboo princess was a nice change, a gentle story. Then my favorite, the old man who made cherry trees bloom. And when I was finished, you all went home happy, except for that poor boy. Would you like candy? I asked once. He said, "I don't like candies," and ran away. Then one night I was going home and saw a crowd of people gathered in front of the shop. They were staring at something called television. It was curious too, but not for long. I was curious too, but not for long. It showed moving pictures. They were all jerky and blurry and had no colors at all. It wasn't long after that when the television antennas started to sprout from the rooftops, like weeds in the springtime. And the more they grew, the fewer boys and girls came out to listen to my stories. How can they like those blurry pictures better than my beautiful paintings, I asked. But there was nothing to be done. As I went around the familiar neighborhoods, the children started to act as though they didn't know me anymore. Even so, I went on clacking my clappers, and one day a little girl poked her head out the window and shushed me. Imagine a little girl shushing me. The kamishibai man was making too much noise. I sat on a park bench and ate a candy for lunch. How could the world change so quickly? Was I a bad storyteller? Then that boy came, the boy who didn't like candies. "Why aren't you watching television?" I asked. "I don't like television," he said. "But you like my stories," I said. And he nodded his little head. I got up and set the stage. "What's your favorite story?" I asked. "The little 1-inch," he answered. So I told him the story of the brave little boy who was only 1 inch tall. And as I told the story, the boy never looked at the picture cards on stage. He was looking at me the whole time with his mouth wide open. He even smiled now and then. When I finished the story, I started to take out some sweets to give him, but he was already running away. "Wait," I shouted, but he kept running and never turned his head. That was the last time I saw that little boy. That was the last day I was a kamishibai man. "I was that little boy," a voice cried out. I startled. The kamishibai man looked up and saw a large crowd had gathered for him. "We grew up with your stories," someone else shouted. "Tell us Little 1-inch again." "And the bamboo princess." "The peach boy." He started to say something, and people began to clap their hands. He took a deep bow, and the applause got louder. As a young man with a movie camera struggled up to him, they bowed to each other, and as the old man gave him a candy, a roar went up. "Look, he has all the same old sweets, just like the old days." And the office clerks and shopkeepers, bankers, waitresses, housewives, and delivery men all lined up in a big circle around the kamishibai man. It was dark when he got home. Bachan was watching the evening news. The kamishibai man was the featured story. "I see you had a busy day," she said. "It was a good day," Ji-chan nodded. "Will you be going out tomorrow?" Yes. "And the day after that?" "Then you need more sweets." "That would be very nice." Could you make twice the usual amount?" "I'll see if I have enough sugar," she said, and shut the television off. So as we read the story today, we see some cause and effect relationships happening in the events in the story. And that's going to be our focus this week. As we read and discuss the text, we're going to be looking for cause and effect relationships. For example, at the beginning of the story, it says Ji-chan is thinking hard about doing his rounds again after many years. So the cause explains why. The cause is always the why. Why something happened in the story. So the cause is why. The effect is the result. What happened as a result of this event? Okay, so the cause is the event in the story that explains the why something else happened. The effect is what happens as a result. So, for example, when Ji-Chan is thinking hard about doing his rounds again after many years, he's quiet for 3 days. If you look back at the beginning of the story, it says, Ba-chan said, Ji-chan, you haven't said a word in 3 days. And Ji-chan responds, I've been thinking about how much I miss going on my rounds. So, because Ji-chan is thinking hard about his rounds, this is the why, this is the cause. The effect is he was quiet for 3 days. There's a cause-effect relationship. If Ji-chan hadn't been thinking so hard about his rounds, he wouldn't have been so quiet. So this event here explains the why he was quiet for 3 days. And the effect of him thinking so hard is him being so quiet. So there's a cause-effect relationship. Without the event of him thinking about his rounds, he wouldn't have been so quiet. One event caused the other to happen. There's a cause-effect relationship in the events of this story.